Distal here. I'm excited to kick off this event about time management because I feel like this is an area where we all need some tips, some ideas, and a little bit more structure in our lives. The reality is there's 24 hours in a day. We're not going to get any more hours, so we have to make the best of the ones that we do have. If you make good use of them, though, that will have plenty of time. I want to show you how you can build the business of your dreams and still make it work amongst your priorities. I'm going to share with you first what my schedule looked like when I worked a full-time job. So as you know my story, most of you, I had a brand new baby at home. My husband was working swing shifts, so this was just me and the baby at home and my business, amongst working a full-time job and other responsibilities, of course. So it took some sacrifices in the beginning, and I'm going to show you how crazy my calendar looked here. I'm going to go through all of that, but those sacrifices of getting up at 5:30 in the morning and staying up late on some nights were definitely worth creating the schedule that I have now. And I'm going to do a separate training on that. It'll be a separate video so you can see the difference in what my schedule looked like when I was working full time and how I fit Beachbody in versus what my schedule looks like now, being able to create my days, design my days. I think the beauty of this business is that you make it work around your schedule and your priorities. So your calendar might not look like mine. It's probably not going to look like mine, and that's okay. You want it to work for you. And I think really fitting it into your life and making it work for you so that you can work smarter and not harder. I think we're all really busy, right? We're all really busy. We have a ton of things going on. But if you know why you're doing this business, if you go back to your why and your big picture goals, it'll be easy for you to stay on task because you know why you're making the sacrifices, right? You know why you're getting up early and staying up late some days because you know that 6 months, a year, 2 years from now, your life can look different. You can have the calendar of your dreams, right? So that's what I really want to teach you today is staying focused on the things that matter, the things that impact your business, and eliminating the things that are just time wasters. So how did I know what to focus on? I started following successful people, right? Follow successful people and do what they do. And I figured out they were doing Power Hour. They were doing Power Hour every day, no matter what. And of course, a lot of the leaders that I was following had full-time jobs and full-time families. And I knew that if they could do it, I could do it too. They weren't any different. Successful people aren't any different than you or me. They just work differently. And you feel better about yourself when you are achieving your goals, right? You're doing things that you can see a direct correlation to results. You can see success from the things that you're doing. So you feel accomplished when you're doing the things that impact your business. So again, focus on your why. Remember why you're doing this so that when it comes down to push or shove, you know that getting up early in the morning or staying up late is going to be worth it. Okay, so let's jump into my iCal. I like to use iCal because I can put everything in here. It syncs with my phone. I can set reminders. It really keeps me on task, and I have my phone or my laptop with me all of the time, right? Everybody has their phone with them. So find a system that works for you, whether that's pen or paper or iCal or Google, and try to stick with it. It might have to play around with a few things, but this is what I found has worked for me. So when I worked a full-time job, this is generally what my schedule looked like. I got up at 5:30, I woke up, worked out, and had my Shakeology. And then I did my first post of the day. I wanted to get my first post up. So generally that was me working out. It was a picture of me doing my workout or drinking my Shakeology because it's important to be proof that the products work, right? So it was always an AM motivational post, and it generally was around my workout. Then I posted in my groups, my challenge groups, my team page, any groups that I had running. I got my posts up for the day, whatever it was that was related to what we had going on at that time. And I send out my friend requests. So I did a whole training in our diamond group around how I go and send out my friend requests. That's a whole nother training. But you can type in the Facebook search bar, women in, this is what I type, women in Arizona who like, and then I type in an interest of mine. So I put women in Arizona who like pregnancy. And I start searching for people who are pregnant or have just had a baby, women, because we have a common interest right away. So that's a fun way to add people right off the bat in the morning. So then I would head off to work my full-time job. I would listen. I would try to go in a little bit later on Monday so I could listen to the National Wake Up Call. And then by lunchtime, a lot of the people that I had sent friend requests to had accepted, so I could send out messages. And I would send out the message, thank you for the ad. I appreciate it. You popped up as someone I may know, it looks like, because we're both moms. How old are your kiddos? And I would start the conversation with them, but then I'd also send out messages to 5 to 10 people that I hadn't connected with in a while. And I would go to their page, I would see what they were up to, and I would send them a message related to something that I saw on their page, just a way to reconnect with them. Or I would send out follow-up messages, people that I chatted with about my challenge group or about coaching, and just follow up. So that was during my lunch break. I would also take that time to post on Facebook my afternoon posts. So maybe I'd post a picture of my lunch. Maybe I would post something about my day. Maybe I would do a transformation picture if it was on Tuesday, Transformation Tuesday during the afternoon. Then on my drive home, I would do my personal development. So that was the way I could get in 30 to 45 minutes of personal development on my drive home. So National Wake Up Call counts. That's all personal development. But I knew that I needed to fill myself up more. I needed more positive reinforcement in my life during a time that seemed very busy to remind me why I'm pushing so hard, why I'm making these sacrifices. And 10 minutes wasn't enough for me. I needed more positivity. I need a positive mindset to push me through. So it was really important that I got that in every day. Some days I did new coach call GSRs on my drive home. It just depended. Maybe I would talk to a coach that's in my downline. Maybe I would do a new coach call, but I always got my personal development either in on the way to work or after work. And again, it was more than 10 minutes because the personal development piece is so huge, you guys. So then I came home. My dad was at the house watching Sienna when she was a brand new baby. I would cook dinner. He would leave. I would cook dinner. I had time with Sienna, bath time. I would do as much with her as I could in this short period of time. I mean, when you're working full time, these hours fly by. So, I cherished all of that. Everything was turned off. It was me and Sienna. And then once I got her to bed, then it was my evening post on Facebook. So it was non-negotiable. I was posting 3 times a day on Facebook, and I could do it. I could do it before I went to work. I could do it on my lunch break. And if you can't get on Facebook during a lunch break, I suggest using a third-party schedule poster like Buffer or Hootsuite. And that's Buffer, Buffer, or Hootsuite, Hootsuite, to schedule things so if you can't get on during Facebook, during work hours. And then I would do my power hour. And so every day, every evening, that was messaging, forming, inviting. If some people hadn't accepted my friend request, then I would send out a few more. I wanted to make sure that I was getting in my 3 to 5 friends added each and every day. So I would go and see who had accepted my friend request. If they had, again, I would send them a message. If they hadn't, the following day I would cancel them out, because if they haven't accepted after a day, they're probably not going to accept. And then that freed up my pending friend requests so that I could send out more. So that night is when I got a lot of my business stuff done. It's when Sienna was in bed, my husband was at work. This is when I could really hit my power hours hard. And I noticed that people were on Facebook. They were doing the same thing I would. They were unwinding after dinner. They were on checking what was going on with their friends, and it was a good time to connect with people. So sometimes my power hour was an hour, sometimes it was 2 hours, sometimes I stayed up well past, I would stay up to 11 or midnight. But again, I knew my why, I knew why I was doing it, and it was important that I stayed focused on that because I was tired of going to this full-time job and missing out on Sienna's milestones. My dad, like I said, was here watching her and would send pictures of her first milestones, and I was tired of letting that happen. I was tired of living paycheck to paycheck. I was tired of my husband working swing shifts and not being home with us. And so I saw the bigger picture. I knew that if I make these sacrifices of waking up really early and sometimes going to bed late, that I could create a different schedule. And as you know, I was able to. So again, you got to make this work for you and your schedule. You got to figure out what blocks of time you can get your things in, your power hour in, the things that are absolutely going to impact your business. And you can see it was just broken up throughout the day. I mean, I didn't have this solid time where I could sit down and crush my business, but I definitely could make it work. And if I can make it work, I know every single one of you out there can make it work too. There was no one that's a top coach or a successful coach that you follow that didn't have a full-time job or a full-time family before they became Beachbody coaches. You hear all of the top coaches, they had struggles, they had full-time jobs, they were in bankruptcy, or they had a child in the hospital. They had things going on, but they remembered why they were doing it. And so I'm not saying that this was just a cakewalk, but I guarantee if you do this long enough, you can design your schedule. And so I'm going to do a new post, and it'll be a separate one, about what my days look like now. But as you can see, I mean, I shut down. I have my work stuff when I have my work stuff, like I'm doing this stuff right now in the middle of the day. And then the rest of the time is family time and lunch dates and parks and gymnastics and being there for Sienna, volunteering at her school. So that will be a separate video that I'll post in here. Just post any questions that you have below. Thanks.